Hello and welcome to the Royal Horticultural Society's Chelsea Flower Show 2026 from the grounds of the Royal Hospital in London.
It's the highlight of the year for gardeners, designers, growers and, of course, us.
It absolutely is. Not long now until the doors open. Tomorrow morning, the world's media will descend on this place and everyone can see what is on offer.
You can feel tension, excitement, a great pavilion. They're finishing bits and pieces. Judges have done their work, you know? Wow.
Well, someone else who is back here at Chelsea and knows a thing or two about impressing the judges is the designer of this garden, Kazuyuki Ishihara. After years exhibiting in the smaller garden categories, last year he made his debut on Main Avenue and he scooped the lot. RHS Chelsea Garden of the Year and the BBC RHS People's Choice Award. The big question, can he do it again? Can he do the double again? Because this is looking quite good, isn't it?
I wouldn't be at all surprised. His attention to detail is incredible. Now, straight away, look at the planting, the way the layers of the trees are built. The acers go in, the pines go in, and then you come down a level and you've got this beautiful sort of moss with these lovely little irises popping up through.
And let's wander through it, because obviously the central thing that runs through the whole garden is the water.
And again, it's classic Japanese, that whole idea of renewal, you know, and it's just fantastic. And then you're drawn towards the back of the garden.
That's the tokonoma, isn't it? That's the pavilion, the ancient pavilion, not very much used nowadays, where families would sit and look back at spectacular gardens like this one. Well, what a brilliant garden it is. And we'll be revealing what the RHS judges think of this garden and all the other gardens across the week.
Coming up tonight on the RHS Chelsea Flower Show 2026, supported by Range Rover. Rachel Detain will take a first look inside the Great Pavilion, the ultimate plant paradise.
Harriet Anderson will unveil her first ever judged garden on Main Avenue. It's a real passion project inspired by a person very close to her heart.
JJ Chalmers seeks out the designs pushing the boundaries in the smaller garden categories.
Plus, it's the garden that's been making headlines. We'll exclusively reveal the RHS and the King's Foundation Curious Garden, designed by our very own Francis Tophill, championed by the King, Sir David Beckham and Alan Titchmarsh.
Looking forward to seeing how Francis has brought all those ideas together.
It's quite something. Well, all that is coming up. But first, earlier today, we went on a whistle-stop tour of the showground to discover why the RHS Chelsea Flower Show really matters. Not only does it raise a huge amount of money for the RHS to support green projects around the UK, it also acts as a showcase for the world of horticulture and garden design.
Chelsea's Main Avenue is the place where designers make their name. This year sees the return of Sarah Ebley, who's going for gold with her Garden 4, the campaign to protect rural England. And she's certainly making an impact. It's mighty and magnificent.
This landscape of sandstone cliffs is dramatic in both scale and colour. It has been designed as one of this year's RHS feature gardens to celebrate the work of Project Giving Back, which over the years has enabled more than 60 charitable organisations to highlight their causes through garden design.
Chelsea reminds us that a garden has the power to transport us to a completely different place. And here, designer Max Parker Smith has brought a little of the Australian outback to southwest London.
The real stars of the show at Chelsea are, of course, the plants. This year, colour is back and the planting is big and bold, like in this courtyard garden. It shows us that even in a little space, you can create something truly bright and beautiful.
This houseplant studio has been created by 3 times gold medalist winner James Whiting. It's lush, it's fragrant and a real love letter to plants.
And here at the heart of the showground is the famous Great Pavilion. This is where all the very best nurseries and growers come every year for this 1 week in May. The rich, diverse palette of plants inside truly underlines Chelsea's status as the greatest flower show in the world. Now we've made our way along Main Avenue to the Killick A Seed in Time garden, designed by Baz Granger. It has been inspired by some of Britain's oldest wetland traditions, but it's also the ultimate modern family garden. And when you step in here, it's the water that you notice first, isn't it?
Yeah.
The noise of it.
Exactly. I think that, though, would be when it was raining. That's this preconceived idea. The water's caught up there, drops into there, and then it moves through, well, ultimately the different areas of the garden.
But what I love about this garden already is when you come onto it, you really get a sense that there's so much to discover, there's so much detail and things unfolding in front of you.
You talk about unfolding, I think this is one of those gardens that as the week goes on, you'll keep seeing some, beautiful bits in it.
It's divided into 3 separate areas, really. Hedgerow, wetlands, and then the sort of dry, where the reeds are drying over there.
Yeah, but even that detail, the reeds are there to dry so that you would use them on the building, if you needed to. But what I love, actually, is the diversity of the planting. If you look at the trees, if we go back not that many years at Chelsea, a lot about monocultures in the same trees, whereas here you've got medlars, you've got mulberries, you've got this incredible black walnut, and your pear tree over there, look.
That's like that looks like a work of art, that pear tree. It's so old, isn't it?
Think about how many years somebody's looked after that tree. And the little bird houses that just pop up around the garden. So again, it's just full of detail.
And then I love this black walnut because I didn't really notice it as I stepped onto the garden. But it's very clever the way it's been planted, and then you just look up and there it towers above it all.
They're quite late into leaf, so it's quite clever really, because you would get the spring sun, then it would provide shade, then it would lose its leaves, and then this would light up again. So it's really cleverly placed.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. As you say, I think we're going to discover a lot more about this over the week. Now, with just a few hours to go until the show opens, the growers in the Great Pavilion are putting the finishing touches to their exhibits. Rachel went to take a sneak peek at the sensational plants on display. The Great Pavilion feels like summertime condensed into one place. And you come in here, the sights, the smells, even the sounds of summer are all around you and giving us that inspiration for our own gardens. Well, the classic summer flower must be the rose. And we're here on the David Austin Roses stand. The display is extraordinary, all that colour. And the fragrance, it just hits you the moment you walk on. This is a shrub rose called Gabriel Oak, and it's beautiful. I love the very saturated magenta in the centre of the flower, paling to a slightly almost lavenderish pink with those rather frilly petals. The scent is fantastic, the health of the foliage is really good. In fact, the mix of all these shrub roses together just looks beautiful. And here's something very different, a rambler. And this is a classic called Rambling Rector. This is a big rose. It needs a large tree for it to ramble and scramble all the way through. And then the effect is really spectacular. Raymond, I know you are a regular at Chelsea. We can always rely on you to bring us a taste of summer. How many times have you come to Chelsea?
It's actually 66 years since I came to my first Chelsea.
That's a long time. It's even more than me. Now, tell me about this year's display.
We have 2,500 plants. We have 3 new varieties, so that's really exciting. But I think my favourite is Clematis Eliza. It's really a super plant. It's very interesting. And of course, it would blend perfectly with roses.
Well, my judgment is that it's absolutely spectacular.
You're very kind. Thanks, Rachel.
Well, some of the exhibitors here in the Great Pavilion are Chelsea stalwarts. They've been coming here for many years. There are also new exhibitors, such as Growing Crazy. Now, Stephen, you've brought your incredible collection of pelargoniums. Is this the very first time you've been to the show?
No, I've actually been to Chelsea Flower Show before. This is a full circle moment because I came here when I was about 13 years of age, but this is the first time that we've been here with our own display.
Have you got a standout plant that you really love?
At the moment has to be Lord Bute. It doesn't normally come out in such flower this time of year, so we're really pleased that we managed to do that and get it to Chelsea.
I think it looks wonderful, so
Brilliant.
well done.
Thank you.
Of course, one of the best things about coming into the Great Pavilion is you're seeing some newly introduced plants for the very first time. And here on the Blue Diamond display, there is this extraordinary hydrangea. It's called Velvet Night Red Lace. And for me, this is just a really sumptuous taste of summer.
One man making his debut on Main Avenue this year and taking on a big design challenge is designer Angus Thompson. He is creating a garden that he hopes will remind us to slow down and take a breath. I joined him during the build-up to the event. Angus, welcome back to Chelsea. It's been quite a while, hasn't it?
It has. We were here 2009 on smaller gardens.
This is your first Main Avenue garden.
It is. Foolishly, I thought, what's the fuss about a bigger one? But obviously it's the intensity of everything happening at the same time.
So what is the story behind this garden then?
We are called Breathing Space. So it's a garden for Asthma and Lung UK, and it's a garden about rest and empowerment, really, to move at your own pace. As you can see, at the heart of it, we have this raised platform, which is a kind of multi-use space for people to rest, for people to take part in gentle activities, depending on ability, anchored by the two pines that you see behind us.
The platform's coming in. That looks like concrete to me, but that's a bit of a no-no here at Chelsea.
We've come up with a carbon zero concrete, and that is because it features something called Aclar, which is like a biochar pellet.
So charcoal, really?
Effectively, yes, which is in itself carbon negative. So adding that to the aggregate and adding oyster shells to the aggregate, the end result is a carbon zero concrete.
Well, welcome back. Lovely to see you here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it all coming together. Angus, this has really come on, hasn't it? Wow, I can't believe how much you've done in a week.
It's been fantastic. Yesterday I had a great day, kind of the plants being offered up where the garden begins to come alive.
I'm fascinated by what the woman here is doing to this rock.
Amanda is just aging a little bit where required. We're northeast facing, so we're cheating a little bit with how the sunlight lands on those boulders. So
it's amazing.
Real expert craftsman.
The attention to detail. This platform, you've put it all in, it's amazing. It's quite a structure to get in place.
It was. I was sat down watching massive cranes, kind of 4 hours per piece, unable to kind of look, but just trust the process.
Nerve-wracking for you. I know you have a way of keeping everyone in your garden calm, though. Your wife is the secret weapon.
Wife's a secret weapon.
What is she going to do?
We're about to take our team onto our breathing space platform and just do a small class to develop one's understanding of breathing.
And we're simply now going to focus on our breathing, which is calming for the body and the mind, and it helps us to feel steadier. Breathing in, releasing any tension, opening up, and a long, gentle exhalation. So best tree pose you can all do, and then find your branches and breathe. Whoa! Yeah. That's it. Just keep breathing, keep steady.
When it gets really stressful here, you can just tell them to deploy all these techniques she's taught them. You could use it around the whole showground, actually, because it's going to get quite stressy over the next few days.
Everyone on our platform doing it.
Well, good luck with it all. I look forward to seeing this when it's completely done. This has come on leaps and bounds. Amazing what you've achieved in, what, just less than a week?
In some ways it's slow progress. You have to take your time with Chelsea, stand back and review each plant that you place. The desire of this garden is not to be overly showy. It's woodland edge, it's quiet. If you look for it, you'll find some kind of jewels, but you've got to look for them a little bit.
And that's the key to your garden, isn't it? It's the, take a breath, the serenity, the peace and calm. You've got to reflect that in the planting. How are you doing that?
It's lots of greens, which is the centre of the colour wheel, so that's a great start point in which to add a few things. But we also got a great planting team, which wanted to add an authenticity to our lean into the Japanese aesthetic. So we invited Midori Shintaro over from Japan.
And how important has her input been?
It's been essential, it's very thoughtful, and for me, she really has got the notion of the beauty of empty space.
Midori, lovely to see you. You've come all the way from Japan to do this, haven't you? Tell me what you're trying to achieve here.
We often say create ma or take ma. It means create, the empty space. And that empty space also that creates the empty time. As a, the living thing, we cannot live without plants, basically. So that means, yes, taking a ma is very important.
So it's letting the garden breathe by letting the plants breathe and making everyone feel relaxed.
Yes.
It's all about the ma. You haven't got that long to go. Are you feeling the stress of it?
No, not quite. It's really becoming the garden I wanted it to be, so let's see where we get over the next couple of days, but I think we're not rushing it.
And what a beautiful garden Angus has created it. Just look at it. Yohako no bi is the Japanese idea about the beauty of empty space. And you can see it so beautifully illustrated right here at the very front of the garden. All of these plants given so much space just to show them off. The wonderful pines that went in right at the beginning as this garden was built. And they shade these lovely seating areas. The whole idea of this garden is that you can come in here, pause, relax, and take a deep breath. Come up here onto the floating platform, which I can finally see in all its glory, and that hovers over this water feature. The planting here is very green and white with the occasional pops of purple, the cercium, and these gorgeous irises in there as well, and the wonderful sound of the water trickling under there. Angus, well done. It's lovely. Having watched this being built, it's lovely to see it finally done, and it is very calming.
Thank you, Sophie. Yeah, well, it took all the time that we needed, but it's the first time I've seen it as kind of fully done and not under wraps, so it's lovely for me to see it with the sunshine and everything. Yeah.
You have been very calm throughout this build, but I did see you an hour before the judges came around this morning looking quite stressed, the most stressed I've seen you during the whole project, because they were just down there, they were going to come and judge your garden, and it wasn't quite ready, was it?
We just got round there with our hosepipe as they came round the corner, is the truth of it. Yeah, it's been, we've been working hard for 3 weeks, and it's amazing how what outwardly feels quite a simple build has just been quite complex. So yeah, we've used all the time.
And it is all about, it's for asthma and lung, isn't it? And it's all about calming down, taking in deep breaths, relaxing. And it's a hard thing to achieve in a space like this.
Yes, I think, our the lack of visual clutter, and I think our colour palette of greens steers you in that direction. And it's not didactic in a way. There's pause points around the garden, so you can use it as per how you're feeling that day.
And this garden will live on after Chelsea. Where's it going?
Correct, yes. This goes up to a breathing centre in Rotherham. So we've already started the build there, so it'll pop out of here and slot into place there the week after Chelsea.
Well, this is going to be a very nice, calming place to come during the Chelsea week, which, as we know, gets very, very busy. But well done, congratulations, and fantastic to see it all finished.
Thank you, Sophie.
Now, designing a large Chelsea garden like this is no mean feat, but if you have less space to work with, you may have to be even more creative. JJ Chalmers went to explore the small gardens and houseplant studios where the designers have had to really think outside the box.
I love this part of Chelsea, tucked away in the trees, away from the hustle and bustle of Main Avenue. It is a treasure trove of creativity. It's the perfect place to come and nab a few ideas for your own space at home. There are some beautiful plants in this space, but what Rebecca's put them in is also brilliant. These planters, they've all got false bottoms, so it allows you to plant at different heights, but also they're lightweight and they're modular. It means that you can move them around, and this space is just so much more versatile. And you could take them with you if you move house. And this entertaining space, which is built out of reclaimed scaffolding boards, that's a bit of me. But my favorite bit is over here. Look at this table. It could be a potting bench. It actually folds away, so you get a little bit more space. But can you imagine working from home right here? This place is bold. It shows you that you can still have a humble space and make a statement. And it's not just these aluminium resin covered walls with their bold and beautiful amber colour. It's a tree this size in a space this small. Tina has used every single inch of this garden, including in the wall. A few holes drilled, you've got a bug hotel with an all-you-can-eat buffet, because all of these plants are perfect for the pollinators, because without them, you don't get any fruit out your tree. How spectacular is this? I mean, it looks like a rainforest, but actually the concept is fairly simple. There's a pump at the bottom which draws water up through the central pipe here, and then that water cascades down over these terracotta pots. And it means that the plants are constantly being watered, and that water is being recycled. And it doesn't just look good. Listen. It sounds calm. And these are houseplants. So even if you don't have any outdoor space, you could bring this inside. Do you know what? I actually love limitation, because constraint, it forces you to get creative. And I hope that what we've shown you has inspired you to get creative with your small space.
While most of the cut flowers you can buy in Britain are still imported from abroad, there are now over 1,000 small growers specialising in seasonal British-grown blooms. Some of them are part of the Flowers from the Farm network. We joined them as they prepared to bring something special to Chelsea this year.
My name's Georgie Newbury. I'm a flower farmer and florist based in Somerset. I'm a writer by trade. I used to work a very long time ago for American Vogue in Paris. But then I met my husband, so I moved to Somerset, and I had to find a new way to make a living. I quickly found I could grow flowers. For 16 years since then, we've been growing bunches of flowers for sale. So Flowers from the Farm is the trade body that represents specialist, small-sized flower growers in the UK. I'm the external chair, and we have 8 members of the board, and we have 1,000 members. 80% of us are women. It's an incredibly collaborative business. I can't grow enough flowers, so I need my neighbour. We rely upon each other. Anybody can be a flower farmer. You don't need a huge amount of space. You might have 3 kinds of flowers that you really love. You love tulips, you might love peonies, and you might love dahlias. So you might just grow those 3 things. You're going to need your neighbour who will grow the filler that will go with that. And you'll need another neighbour who'll grow the foliage to go with that. And together, the 3 of you can do an amazing thing out of really quite a modest space. The whole Flowers from the Farm Chelsea team, we live miles and miles and miles away from each other. So everybody came down to stay the night last night so that we could have a final go through of everything that we need, everything we need to know. And then today we're spending the day doing a mock-up to make sure that the idea we had in January is actually going to work. Lots of reasons to go to Chelsea. Partly we need more flower farmers, and it is the greatest show on earth. So go and demonstrate at Chelsea. But we're definitely going to Chelsea so that we can encourage people to buy more flowers, to know that there is a flower farmer nearby. And I really hope we get our SIC codes so that we've got something massive to celebrate on Press Day. SIC codes are standard industrial classifications, and nobody knows about these things. They are a 5-digit number which is given you by the government and it's associated with your sector. If we get our SIC codes, we can not only prove how much money we're putting into the economy of the British Isles, but then we're in a position to be protected by government and encouraged by government. There might be grant aid. None of us have ever had any support from government because we don't exist. So we have to change that. The design for Chelsea is really loosely based on a Fibonacci spiral because all flowers open in a Fibonacci sequence, which is a swirl. And it's cut flowers growing, the cut flowers harvested, and the cut flowers used in floristry. Penny Dommett is a fantastic garden designer, so we're really lucky to have her on the team.
To begin with, we've got this paved area, which will be the hard standing, and the seat with the compost in it. I love the compost seat. Because of this lovely swirl of the paving with the sets, I think we'll get a lovely curve, and I think it'll show the plants off beautifully.
I'm also a florist, and over the years I've worked with Nathan Shaw. When it came to deciding how we were going to create a structure, I couldn't think of anybody else that I would have gone to. What I would like is an exploding greenhouse.
Yeah.
So we still have a greenhouse shape, kind of like this, and the uprights are going to explode.
So like large metal leaves.
Kind of, yeah. I just don't want the greenhouse to meet.
You don't want it looking like a greenhouse.
Yeah, I don't want a greenhouse. Sarah and Isel over there are in charge of the floristry, and Sarah's just putting together this lovely modular arch. They're so handy. You can make any size you like, you can rearrange them, and they're 100% sustainable.
They're absolutely perfect. Like the different textures that we're able to use, we can use it on site. We don't need anything other than chicken wire. There's sort of juxtaposition between the plants and the metal. It all comes together really beautifully. So flowers grown in Britain, they're an entirely different creature than the ones that are imported. They have movement. They're scented, which is something you just don't get with flowers that are imported.
Flowers grown in the UK have 20 times less carbon footprint than flowers that are flown in from elsewhere. Chelsea is nerve-wracking for all of us. We are flower farmers and florists. We are not nursery people. For us to have those plants in perfect condition for Chelsea is really quite difficult. We're too small to be grand about Chelsea. We have to be there to take our place at the table. We've got to own the space of flower farming in the UK. We need to remind everybody that there is such a thing as a local flower farmer. And our job is to encourage people to grow more flowers for sale, enable people to grow more flowers for sale, and make sure that our government recognises the value of the work that we do and supports us in return.
And the first miniature flower farm of cut flowers is in the Great Pavilion. And it's blooming marvellous. Well, it's nearly blooming marvellous.
Nearly.
How are you feeling?
We're nervous, but I think we have every right to feel confident. The team has worked so hard. I've never seen anything brought together so fast.
I mean, it's looking luscious, isn't it? But when you're finished, this is going to tell the story of, well, flower farm to end product.
Field to harvest to floristry. And you see the whole process.
Wow. Because that greenhouse is going to look like it's exploding, yeah?
Well, yes, the leaves are exploding from the greenhouse because we haven't got room for the floristry otherwise. If you had a normal-sized greenhouse, there wouldn't be room.
That's going to look incredible, isn't it?
It is going to look amazing.
So coming to Chelsea then, how does that help with your SIC code?
Well, if we're going to exist as a cut flower sector, then we need to be seen, don't we?
Yeah.
So the place to go to do that is going to be the greatest show on earth.
Chelsea Flower Show. Wonderful. And so when people turn up on Tuesday, public come in, ultimately, what's the message?
I want people to look at their gardens and go, I could do that. I could grow a crop of digitalis, I could grow a crop of peonies. These things are valuable, and I've got a bit of garden. You don't have to have an enormous amount of space. I've got colleagues growing on allotments. You don't need much.
So ultimately, if you can find a little space, have a go.
Have a go. Flowers for sale. We need them. We need more growers.
Well, judging, I'm sure you'll be fine. But I'm going to wish you good luck anyway.
Thanks very much, Adam.
All right.
Well, it really is a hive of activity here in the floristry zone in the Great Pavilion. They are working really hard to put the finishing touches to the exhibits, leaving it to the very last minute. They've got until 9 o'clock tonight to do it all.
But the freshness of those flowers is so key.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why they're leaving it so late.
We've got plenty more to come on tonight's first look at the RHS Chelsea Flower Show 2026, an event supported by Range Rover.
We'll be giving you an exclusive tour of the RHS and the King's Foundation Curious Garden by Francis Tophill, with contributions from the King, Sir David Beckham and Alan Titchmarsh, no less.
Plus, Rachel's been exploring another garden with a royal connection, inspired by historic royal palaces. It's the perfect place to spend a lazy Sunday afternoon.
But first, our very own Arit Anderson is taking on a big challenge here at Chelsea this year. Not only is this garden her first main avenue designed to be judged by the RHS, but the message behind it is deeply personal, as we discovered in the lead-up to the event.
I'm Arit Anderson, I'm a garden designer, and this year at RHS Chelsea I am going to be the designer for the Parkinson's UK garden, inspired by my sister Julie, because my sister has Parkinson's. I was quite taken aback and really upset. She was diagnosed with a condition that she wouldn't get better from, and that was heartbreaking.
Not quite a depth yet.
Just go backwards.
I know, exactly. Don't go backwards. I bought some drinks because I know you always like a tea.
I was fostered when I was very young, alongside my younger sister, and Julie is the eldest out of all of us.
I'll tell you what I found the other day. Look at this. Do you remember this? Lisa, me, and you. And I just look at that picture now and I just think that just epitomises how I've always just seen you as my big sis.
Nice.
How you been doing?
I've had some pretty awful days, I must admit. And then you pick yourself up and carry on, don't you?
The reason why I'm doing it, it's brought home to me just how difficult it is.
Yes, it's not easy. And the trouble is, people don't understand it. That's the biggest thing.
I just hope people can learn a bit more about what it means to have Parkinson's. There's so many symptoms and they change. You used to be able to sleep and now you can't sleep, and you didn't have a tremor and now you have a tremor.
I mean, it's not your disease, it's everybody around you's disease as well, because it drags you in.
You've got it, you're the one that has to deal with it every day, but we're witness to it and we are part of it, really, I guess.
I think it's painful for everybody.
It is our fastest growing neurological condition in the world. It's affecting people that are younger. So this condition at this moment isn't going away. So to be able to showcase it through the joy of a garden is something that I knew I had to do. The inspiration for this garden has been drawn out of a group of gardeners who have Parkinson's. So David Plummer has invited me down to his garden in Brighton, and that's going to be invaluable for me to be able to see him in his own garden and how it helps him with his Parkinson's.
I was diagnosed in 2009 at the age 39.
I'd like to sort of understand how being outside and doing what you do, how it helps with some of your symptoms.
It's my outside sanctuary, really. It's heaven. The world was my playground, being a professional wildlife photographer, but I've still been able to do that and carry that on because of the garden and the changes I made to it. I've turned this garden into my workplace. So one adaptation I've made is make the jobs achievable. Otherwise, it can be a little bit overwhelming, and so the job sits there for a year undone. And so I do bite-size hits.
One of the things I'm learning about Parkinson's is about movement control. And there's a term called freezing. Can you tell me what would potentially help in the garden to overcome the freezing?
I freeze. You have to adopt techniques to break out of that cycle of freezing. So an adaptation could be some form of movement in the garden that will break the cycle. It could be water moving or plants moving. Dealing with the nighttime aspect of the garden could be the most important point. It really helps my insomnia because it's such a debilitating symptom to get that over a prolonged period of time people really struggle. And that just coming out into an outside space makes a person feel better.
Thinking about what you've said, it feels like any garden I design, I need to think about access, need to think about the freezing episodes, because, you know, that's really important if we're going to be in a space. I get it with my sister, and hearing you as well talk about the insomnia, I really want to touch upon that and acknowledge that.
Well, the pressure's on now. All eyes of the Parkinson's community are on you.
Thank you. My shoulders just got a little bit heavier.
It's been brilliant catching up at David's and really fine-tuning some of the ideas and some of the things that he needs. But the ideas that I want, I've got to create them. And finding a maker to do them has got to be the right one. And I'm really, really pleased to be working with Khan Sanderlands and the team at Millimeter. I'm looking forward to seeing them because getting it out of here and getting it made is the exciting bit.
I am so looking forward to this being real. We've got the handrail. Water's coming through at height. Somebody can see water, touch water, hear water, and if they get that moment when they literally, their feet freeze, this is a sensory cue.
Does that sensory experience of the water in the handrail, will that potentially pull them out of this freeze?
Yeah.
We're looking at this side of the canopy. It's the other side where you get all of these beautiful perforations that will allow your dappled light to come in. This gives you a feeling of enclosure and safety and feeling of care.
And I think if you're sat here, you have Parkinson's, imagine that as insomnia, and you've sat down and you can just feel that you can just breathe for a minute.
Just seeing the amount of work that the team have done is kind of blown me away, really. Creating a show garden at Chelsea is a huge task. Doing it for a charity that you love starts to personalising it. But to have it for somebody central in your life, in your immediate family, has just ramped up the pressure. I've got to put myself out there.
And here it is, the finished garden. Arik, congratulations. It is absolutely beautiful. It's been an emotional journey for you.
It has. You know, doing the show garden takes a lot out of you anyway, Sophie, but to then add in such a personal moment, yeah, it's been a lot, but it's what's driven me on.
And flowing all the way through the garden is this. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. And to touch it as well, it's amazing to touch. It's what a handrail and a handrill as well.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, play on words. This handrail is something that I wanted to put in the garden so that people can have a support when they walk. When you have Parkinson's, it can be quite difficult, but didn't want to make it feel like it was just sort of ubiquitous handrails. So with the water running through it, picks up a sensory sound and the sight of water, because there's a condition called freezing where the brain sort of stops you from walking. Tuning into this kickstarts the brain again.
Talk me through the planting, because you've got very different pockets. What was the thought behind that?
Yeah, so I wanted to create these different zones, kind of reflecting the mood of what happens when you have Parkinson's. There's this sort of more joyous and uplifted moment when you're feeling sort of good in your treatment, but there's also high anxiety that can occur. So by having a cooler, calmer palette, it means if somebody wants to sit quietly and be surrounded by the calm, or if you want to be lifted by the energised, colourful planting.
And then the pathway here is very wide for a purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So if you have Parkinson's, your walking gait can make you veer to one side for a bit, or your dyskinesia, it's called, you move a lot. So there needs to be space, and I wanted to make sure that that person could walk through this garden side by side, comfortably with somebody without feeling constricted.
And tell me about the significance of this structure.
Well, this structure is what we're calling the nighttime shelter, because at night, a lot of times people with Parkinson's can't sleep, insomnia, sleep disorder. So it's to suggest that your garden can be a place to use at night time, changing the palette completely, going into the pale blues, the whites. As the sun goes down, these really pop, these colours. So I want people to think that they could maybe by their own window, by their door of their back garden, create their own nighttime area and maybe get some respite from the garden during those difficult times.
Well, it is beautiful, and I think it's going to mean so much to people with Parkinson's, to their families as well, people who live with what is really a horrible disease, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is also your first Main Avenue judged show garden. So very, very good luck.
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you.
Best of luck, Harriet. We're all wishing you well. Over in the Great Pavilion, the growers have really been pushing themselves and their plants to the limit. And earlier today, as final preparations are in full swing, JJ Chalmers joined them as they edge towards the finishing line.
The Great Pavilion showcases horticultural ambition from growers and nurseries all over the world, and there are spectacular displays of skill here. This is the RHS City Season of Abundance installation, and it challenges the limits of the size and scale of the pavilion, and it sits here right at its heart, and it's pretty big. It's 17 metres by 18 metres. I mean, you're not going to miss it, and it is all about spring changing into summer, and with these 6 beautiful multi-stemmed hornbeams and a variety of planting, it truly is abundant. Everywhere you look, people are prepping their plants to perfection. There are feats of technical skill over at the Brantwood stand with their incredible wisteria. This stand is so beautiful. It looks like it's been here for, what, 200 years?
It does, and that's what we were looking for. We wanted to show as much variety as possible, standard wisterias, climbing wisterias, bonsai, and this is what Brantwood looks like, so we've actually brought it to life.
Wow, just brought a little chunk of it down here to London.
Yes.
Well, tell me, how much of a challenge was it to get these here from Cumbria?
It was a huge feat of engineering to get them here. We had the wisteria in 3 different locations, so we had to go around Cumbria and pick them up, and then we had to travel down to Worcestershire for the 3rd. They're so delicate, and we had to pack the truck so carefully, so we had to try and avoid every pothole, so you can imagine how slow the truck was going to get here.
It was well worth it.
Thank you very much.
Look at these daffodils. Taylor's bulbs have brought 46 varieties to the show, and they are all perfect. I know in my garden at this time of year they are long gone, so to have them looking this good is no mean feat. Well, you guys are clearly still very busy. These have just arrived from Barbados?
They arrived on Thursday, but we didn't get them until 9 o'clock Friday night.
These have come from a completely different climate.
Yes, they have. Cold is a real issue, and being near the door is not helping.
What temperature are these guys used to?
They're like 30 degrees.
Oh, good luck getting 30 degrees in Chelsea. Chelsea wouldn't be Chelsea without a little bit of weird and wonderful. And you can certainly find it here at Wax Wicked Plants. These carnivorous plants look like they come from another planet. Where have they come from?
They've come from North Yorkshire.
Wow, and how much of a challenge is it to get them down here?
It's not easy because they're very precious. So what we do is we lift and we load them one by one, we cuddle them, take them to the van and put them carefully in a crate.
They're a lot of fun.
I think so.
I'm not sure there is anything better in the world than come the weekend, you kick back and relax in your own garden. Let's set the scene. It's Sunday, PM, lazy afternoon. The space feels fantastic. When you start to look at the design of this, it takes me back to being in my nan's garden. She never threw anything away, so she would hoard and collect, and I love that. And how you can create sort of an eclectic mix of items, pull them together, and they look like they belong. If you think about it, we've got reclaimed paving, the bricks tie back in with a back wall. You've then got the copper that works its way through the space. They sit comfortably with our different containers. Then you've got the 3 different water features. And if you take a moment and stop and listen, they all make slightly different sounds. So you've got this sort of little tune going on in the background. Then you get to the planting. Big statement up in the corner, which is the river birch. And that sets a tone, in a sense. Not only does it connect to the materials, but also there's layers of planting underneath it, and you're left with this sort of hug of a courtyard. It feels comfortable to be in, sort of romantic, cottagey. When you look a little closer, you realise the selection of so many of these plants has been driven by that tea. We've got things like the camellias, the roses, the lemon balm. There's even some nettles. So yeah, all in all, it creates a place that you would definitely want to spend a good few hours. Now, I'm not the only one that's been seeking out a little rest and relaxation before the show opens tomorrow. Rachel has found the perfect place to do just that.
Well, I found the perfect place to relax. I'm on the Boodles Garden, designed by Catherine MacDonald. And it's inspired by the historic royal palaces, which includes Kensington Palace, Hampton Court, and the Tower of London. In fact, this central area is very much inspired by the Tower. You've got this rill, which actually goes all the way around, but very cleverly, it just comes down at both sides, just down these little waterfalls, which have just the right amount of sound, and that represents the moat at the Tower. The planting at the front of the garden is anchored by this mammoth yew that's been beautifully clipped. And then there's this lovely drift of plants going through. You've got lots of grasses, things like the Brizia, the Imperator cylindrica rubra, which is that red foliage. There are irises just travelling through, and then again we're anchored at this end. You've got this OG-shaped pot, which is an inverted shape that you see on the roofline of the Tower of London and again at Hampton Court. And Catherine's very cleverly turned it on its head and put a yew in that. And that sumptuous theme in the colours really continues through here. You've got more irises and then the glorious Buckeye Bell peony with that rich crimson colour. On this side, the iris is slightly paler, and then there's a cloud of Anthriscus sylvestris raven's wing, the raven, of course, for the Tower of London. It's a lovely effervescence. The planting design here is incredibly clever because, in fact, it's quite a restricted palette of plants. That means that you feel calm, your eye doesn't go from one thing to another. It's really lovely. You walk past the pear and there's a yew hedge that just wraps itself around you like an arm giving you a big hug. Finally, there's a chair of pretty majestic proportions from which I can sit and admire the agapanthus and feel relaxed and regal, pretty much like a queen.
Now, there's one RHS Chelsea garden that's already been making headlines this year, and it is designed by our very own Frances Tophill. She's teamed up with none other than His Majesty the King, Sir David Beckham, and gardening royalty, Alan Titchmarsh. I caught up with her as she took on the daunting task of bringing this illustrious garden to life. Francis.
Hello.
You've gone to the other side this year.
I know, it's slightly terrifying.
From presenting to designing, and what a garden to design.
I know, no pressure, the RHS and the King's Foundation.
I know. Well, tell us about what you are doing then.
The whole garden is the curious garden, with it being me that's designed it, about plants, about how incredible they are, not just in a garden, but actually globally, economically, how important they are in human lives. And so this is the museum, which is this beautiful oak frame building, which is going to just be filled with all the things you can do with plants. It's a walkthrough. People can actually come into this space.
Which people love. I don't want to add pressure to you, but you have, let's say, quite a high-profile team involved.
Alan Titchmarsh, and his advice, which was absolutely priceless, it's like, just do you, but more polished. I was like, actually, yeah.
Okay, so we're going from Alan Titchmarsh to
David Beckham. He's been really involved in kind of helping to choose the planting. And then His Majesty the King has also been involved.
Just the King. Did they have specific things they wanted to achieve in this garden?
They did. Alan was all about representing the best of horticulture, which is his passion, so no pressure there. The King is all about detail, so all the things like the little carvings on the timber, the artisan craftsmanship of everything is what he'll be looking for. David Beckham is a beekeeper, so he wanted there to be a beehive.
And the beehive is in there.
And the beehive is in there. So we're going to have a... It's going to be a wild beehive. Woven willow with a kind of cob on the outside of it, which will be in the middle of the veg garden with cut flowers and companion planting, hopefully to sort of show pollination. Although hopefully we won't actually have any bees in it because they'll have to be moved.
We've got a good honey supplier, so there's a good supply of honey apparently that will be brought in not jars. Just me. Not just you. Yeah, we are. You feel left out here. No, I don't keep bees. We'll sell you some. Oh, thank you.
How much pressure are you feeling?
Well, quite a lot. We're not being judged, which takes some pressure off in that sense. But the main thing is I don't want to let anybody down. I want the garden to feel like a beautiful space, and I want those people, when they come, to feel that as well.
Jake, hello, watering the wall.
Yes.
What are you actually doing here?
Because this is lime render, which is a natural product, we're just feeding it with some moisture so it doesn't dry out too quickly.
Frances is not here.
No, she's not.
You're on your own.
She's let me loose. She's out looking at some plants and doing some visits like that. We're constantly in contact every day, video calls, messages.
Should we give her a call? I want to see what she thinks of it all.
Oh, video call.
All right, so she answers. Ah, there she is. I know you haven't been here for a few days, but Jake's doing a great job.
The render looks amazing.
He's just been watering the render, so it's going very well. You've been in regular contact with Jake?
Yeah, regular pictures, updates, discussions on trees, those sorts of things.
Well, very nice to see you, albeit miles away. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See you later.
What a garden to be creating.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There's lots of different ideas, and it's been really fantastic to bring it all together.
I'm looking forward to seeing it next week. Frances, what a transformation. I was here less than a week ago, and I have to say, I was wondering how quickly this garden was going to take shape because there was no planting.
Yeah, well, the planting started happening 2 days ago. That just transforms everything. The plants are the main focus, really, of this, because it's a celebration of horticulture and of plants. We're just all hands on deck planting.
Volunteers as well here, planting it up for you.
We do. So we have the core planting team, but each day this week we have 4 volunteers from the RHS, and we also tomorrow have some students from the horticulture training at the King's Foundation as well. They've been doing all sorts of things, but Lila's down there helping, doing the mulching around our cut flowers.
You're one of the volunteers here. What's it like?
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm very new to horticulture, and so in my first year to be able to work at a Chelsea show is incredible for me.
You've got this wonderful museum, as you're calling it. Tell me about what you've got here.
The Museum of Curiosities is to show people that plants come into all of our lives and what an amazing thing the natural world can be. I have tried to encompass all of the things that plants can do for people. At the moment I'm working on the dye area, so this is a swatch book of different dyed plants which I've made bunting from, and I've turned it into a book to actually show which plants make which.
Are you nervous, or are you kind of on course?
The end is in sight, but we still haven't got most of our plants here. I'm not worried that it won't happen, but I'm worried that it will be some very long days to get it there.
That's what Chelsea's all about.
Good luck. Thank you.
And here it is. What a wonderful burst of colour.
It feels beautiful. But for me, it's the interplanting of the herbaceous perennials, the shrubs, the veggies, the herbs, all in together. If you had a hard day at work, you came home, walked out, this would make you smile.
It is making me smile right now. Let's go through the Museum of Curiosities as well, because I haven't seen this. It's the first time I've seen this properly finished, and all the flowers, the dried flowers hanging. Isn't it lovely?
It is. Do you know, I imagine Francis' house to be like that.
Very possibly is. And look at that beehive. Isn't that spectacular?
Yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it?
That's what David Beckham wanted.
This place really does celebrate plants, doesn't it?
It really is. Here she is, the woman herself. Congratulations.
Hello.
Well done, girl.
Are you happy with it?
I think so, but I need more time for it to all sink in. Ask me in a month. Yeah, no, I think it's really lovely.
So, come on, you've been here, you've created it. What's your favourite elements?
Oh, well, I love the herbs.
Yeah.
That whole front edge. It took me 3 days because I kept calling off to can you check the gutters, can you do this? It took me 3 days to place that, but I really wanted to place that myself. Mainly because I love herbs, but also it's the texture of it. So that front corner under the pomegranate trees, I love the pomegranate trees. I wanted that to be this kind of amazing, sumptuous, textural space.
You were talking from the day I came to see you when you first broke ground here about the garlic. I've just spotted it. You grew that, didn't you? Especially for David Beckham.
Well, I didn't grow it for David Beckham, but when he asked for garlic and I had already put in the plant orders, I had to dig up some garlic from my allotment and put it up for David Beckham. So yes, I did grow that.
Bless you. What would you take home?
Oh, I mean, I would take home the beehive. I would take home the beehive. I love the beehive. But also, I think lots of things from the building, a lot of it comes from my home, so I will be taking it back home again as well.
What did I just say?
Exactly. And you've got the big day tomorrow. The King is coming with David Beckham and Alan Titchmarsh, but the King is going to be here. Are you nervous about it?
Yeah, I am nervous. I feel like it's a lot of responsibility. I want to represent, the RHS and the King's Foundation well. I want them to be proud. I want them to get it. And I just, I want people to love it. I want people to learn from it and be inspired by it and enjoy it. But I think when everyone comes tomorrow, that will be the test of whether I've kind of done them proud.
You've nailed it.
Thank you.
You've done. You've worked so hard, Francis, for masses of luck for tomorrow.
Thanks.
Well, that's all we've got time for this evening. Our coverage from Chelsea continues tomorrow on BBC One at 2 p.m, when Nikki Chapman and Angelica Bell will be bringing you all the excitement from Press Day. They'll be joined by our family of experts helping you at home make an impact in your garden.
Monty and Rachel will be back tomorrow here on BBC Two at 8 p.m. with exclusive coverage of the royal family's annual visit to Chelsea.
But that is all from us for tonight. Enjoy the week. Bye.
Bye-bye.